I think what's the biggest change I've seen is how much more time, effort, and money it takes on the back end of doing fire protection work. Years ago, we would use a 4-part carbon work order, and our systems report, we would drop in the mail the last copy, along with a systems report, mail it to someone, and they would send us a check. Now what's different is a lot of companies out there, big franchise companies, corporate type stores, restaurants, use these vendor portals. We also, now with Compliance Engine, we're now having to upload reports into various jurisdictions that uses Compliance Engine after a service, and if you miss one box on a report, it comes back as incomplete. So there's a lot of office administrative work involved in every invoice compared to what it was a number of years ago.
Kind of old school, I'm going way back, but the UL 300 change. I spent the beginnings of my career tearing out old dry fire suppression systems and installing wet systems. That was to me a long period of time with great change. That was one thing that kind of struck me as a significant change in the industry, and then obviously when you're going out and servicing this equipment, it's really increased in the documentation that is needed, the reports that have to be uploaded to the compliance engines. That was kind of a big thing that happened 4 or 5 years ago, or however long it was ago, which I think has helped us to be better as train our technicians, you know, to cross their T's and dot their I's with what they're doing, not only inspecting the fire equipment, which is the main idea. You know, I try to get that through, that we're there to, the paperwork needs to be done, but life safety equipment needs to be checked properly every time. So the input of that information that we have to take, the pictures and the documentation and uploading that to the different agencies is also a large significant change that I've seen over the years.
I would say, look, obviously we talked about the pen and paper earlier and that change, but when you think about it and from other ways, technology is starting to have a place in the actual inspection, test, and maintenance of fire equipment. I was just recently at a conference for a fire alarm supplier, and I was amazed that everything that they're bringing out is going to have an internet connection, and there's going to be an ongoing need for our services to include technology, and I'm talking about from the product itself. I think about too, you know, all the testing equipment that people are developing and getting better and better at. I love the fact that we have a lot of people across the country that are saying, I think there's a better way to do this, and they create it and they bring it to market, and we're buying it, right? Remote inspections are going to be here whether we like them or we don't like them. And my point is that systems that are being brought to market today, there are more and more opportunities for a remote inspection to be done. It really comes down to, you know, our labor capacity as an industry. This is a good thing from that perspective. And so being in a position to be able to do that, take advantage of that, and certainly make sure that we can complete that same work in a different way is an important thing we've got to be thinking about as an industry.
It's a lot. It seems like it's a lot more insurance driven now. In the past, I mean, we were still in an area where, let's say, an old kitchen hood, right? The dry chemical kitchen suppression systems, they were still allowed in certain parts. You know, the majority of folks knew that they weren't the best option, but then it was, you know, they were grandfathered, so they didn't have, or they could have them, but it was bringing everyone up to speed.
Well, again, as you can tell, I'm an old guy, and when I started, it was all pen and paper. The digital age has brought in some great changes, not only with the fire life safety equipment itself, but with how we perform those inspections. And the app that we use to conduct those services really enables us to keep a better record of those services, and it allows the national account companies to provide an overall asset data list for the national account companies, the multi-user facilities, and that's really benefited the industry as a whole.
Definitely being able to go paperless, that's been a huge change, and then the iRoll and the compliance engine, where they're kind of our greatest salesmen, making sure that the quotes and the deficiencies are repaired and they're up to code.
So interesting enough, we were able to do an inspection where we used remote inspection, which I know is a popular topic these days in that market, but also drones, that we physically use drones in a warehouse to get up to inspect the sprinkler system and each sprinkler individually. Instead of going up on lifts and doing it that way, we just used that drone footage, and it was categorized and utilized for that inspection. So that was probably the most unique thing that we've done recently. And I think we'll see more of that as we move forward with that market.